Hello, everybody. I'm Zen,
And I'm Will.
and welcome back for another episode of Virtual Voices, a podcast about roleplay and roleplay fighting. And today's video, or today's episode, we're going to talk about the differences between formal roleplay and freelance roleplay. First, we're going to give you guys some news about what's been going on in the roleplay fighting community. So, Relucent, would you like to share some of the news that we have?
Did you say we have news?
Yeah, we have news, right? You have news for us.
Oh god. I don't have any news.
You don't have any news.
No, I don't got news.
What do you mean? Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the news for today.
Sorry.
It's alright.
I've been living under a rock. I haven't seen any news lately.
That's alright. Since we don't have any news for you guys, we will just jump right into the topic. We promise to have news next time. Alright, so the topic is going to be, as mentioned earlier, is going to be the differences between formal roleplay and freelance roleplay.
If you don't have any idea about what freelance roleplay and forum roleplay is, buckle your seatbelts. We're gonna go in.
Alright, so the first one we're going to talk about is formal roleplay. Now, people kind of or may not understand there's a difference between freelance and formal roleplay. So when I mean forum roleplay, I mean let's just explain what some of the traits are within a formal roleplay. So formal roleplays happen in like formal sites, like any formal site that you know of. Now, with formal roleplays, making a plot is one of the most prevalent things for a formal roleplay. You don't want to just jump into a roleplay and fight somebody and not know the plot or not know the story. So making a plot is really encouraged in formal roleplays. And making a plot helps with having a consistent story, beginning, middle, and end, and also creates a good read for the people. And also, it resists people from arguing what's going on, what's going to happen, because the two role players come together and devise a plot, and the plot is carried out and within that fight scene. Also, something else in formal role plays is that people tend to take damage more often than those who involve themselves in a freelance roleplay. And taking damage is actually a good thing to do because it creates the idea that the fight is more realistic, is more plausible, rather than just having a fight where I'm dodging everything and you can't touch me and this is the Matrix, so I win. This is not what happens in formal roleplay sites. Taking damage is a key factor because it also shows, like I said, it shows more realism and also showing fatigue, showing that you get tired after swinging a certain amount of time, showing that you get tired after, producing a lot of attacks, so this is something that happens in formal roleplay sites. Another thing also in formal roleplays are magic systems. A lot of formal roleplay sites have their own magic system, or they follow a certain type of magic system, which most generally revolves around the D&D base or Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of formal roleplay sites base their timeline off of the Dungeons and Dragons timeline. So that's something else also that happens in formal roleplays, that they base their timelines off of a more medieval. I don't want to say all formal roleplay sites base their timeline on a medieval time frame, but a lot of them do. But nevertheless, formal roleplay sites base or have a consistent baseline of what timeline they're fighting in. So like a freelance site, if I'm a knight, I'm not going to be fighting a robot. That won't happen. But in a formal site, I can be a robot fighting against another robot, or I can be a knight fighting against another knight. So it will always come down to same limitations, same powers, same potential, same theme, exactly. So this is what happens in a formal roleplay site. Also, filler, in freelance roleplay sites, filler is something that's looked down upon, because freelance is all about, attacking someone, getting to the point, explaining their powers, explaining their weapons, and just getting to the point. However, when it comes down to formal sites is based on a story, so you want to elaborate on certain things, you want to give detail, you want to make the read more interesting rather than just getting into a fight and fighting. You want to build the plot, you want to build or have character development, you want to have these things. Therefore, you're going to write more. You're going to add detail in things that's not always relevant to the attacks, or the fighting aspect of the plot. So writing filler is something that's not frowned upon in formal sites. If anything, they're hold to a high degree, for people to encourage people to actually dive deep into the role play and dig into explaining their character and their appearances like that for a better read. So that pretty much wraps up the general idea of what formal roleplay fighting is about. The next is going to be about freelance roleplay fighting, and then afterwards we'll talk about the differences or try to contrast the two against one another and talk about the pros and cons of roleplay fighting in freelance form and roleplay fighting in a formal form. So for right now, just enjoy this song. This song is, okay, what's the name of the song?
Sanity.
So this is Real Illusion's song. He made it himself. Matter of fact, you introduce the song.
This song was made by me, Illusion. I call it Sanity. I released it to a little record label I'm part of. It's called Young Flaction. They have many artists like me. I made the song in BandLab as a return to making music after a year break. So enjoy.
that was Sanity by Real Illusions. Everybody subscribe to the channel. What's the name of the channel again?
Yoncomoflaction.
Yonku Refraction.
No. Yoncomoflaction.
Oh, Yoncomoflaction. Anyway, the link is going to be in the description. So subscribe to the channel, support his music, like, subscribe, do everything you can do on YouTube, and that's it. So now that we're back, we're going to talk about freelance roleplay fighting.
Now, about freelance roleplay, unlike forum roleplay, freelance is free themed. You can have a 5-foot cyborg fighting a 20-foot Godzilla character. Basically, in freelance roleplay, your imagination can run wild. You can use whatever character in whatever setting, whatever timeline, whatever arena, and in freelance roleplay, people usually prefer to not be limited by rules, but for some people, rules can be applied. For roleplay fighting, we have moderate power as a rule set. There are many versions of moderate power, but if you don't use a rule set, basically you can use whatever power you want without any limits. Another thing in freelance roleplay is filler is looked down upon greatly, because filler is writing useless things that doesn't serve a purpose in the roleplay post itself. Even though it's encouraged in forum roleplay, in freelance roleplay it just wastes your time.
Yes, because I'm a person who doesn't like to read. So if you have a post that's all about your character's colors and what they wearing and stuff like that, then I would be highly upset. But everybody has their own preference, to some people enjoy reading stuff like that, some people don't. But it's not needed. Like, because it's a fight, going into detail about your character's shirt and how it is stitched and the designs on your character's pants, none of this stuff is going to be re-acknowledged or reused later on in the fight. So it pretty much just has no meaning to it. It's better off just being simple. My character has a red shirt with blue jeans and white sneakers, and move on.
Yeah, for me, I actually like reading those things, but it depends on my mood. If I'm cranky, I will ignore your post. Even though freelance roleplay can be fun for everyone, some people will have a problem with your post and will need to discuss with you about it. If it goes too far, you might spark an argument with people. So it is suggested that you write your post and check for errors before you post it, so you don't have anyone scratching your back after the post. In freelance roleplay, you need details. You have to be precise with your measurements and your place, where you're aiming, what you're doing, and how much force, speed, things like that. Because if you're not precise, people will assume, and that can lead to some arguments. No one likes to fight. Please do your post correctly.
Right, and we understand that not everyone is the best writers. Like myself, I'm not one of the best writers, but everyone should fight someone who they're comfortable with, unless you're really confident in just going out and fighting whoever you want. But it's if you're just starting roleplay fighting, it's always good to fight with someone you're comfortable with, who's going to point out your mistakes in a loving manner, instead of trying to bash you and call you stupid. They'll point out your mistakes, in a way where it helps you build, a better experience and helps you learn faster, than rather than just, like I said before, pointing the finger and calling you out and trying to say that you don't know any better. So it's always good to find someone who's on the same level, or who's going to be patient with you.
Freelance also means you can cross between any genre, fandom. You can have your own original stuff. So, like, for example, in freelance, you can roleplay as your own character, while your friend can roleplay as Harry Potter or something like that. Another example is that you can roleplay with a group of people as Harry Potter, and another group of people interacting with you can roleplay as Marvel's Avengers characters, and then you can start a war with those kind of people.
So that's pretty much what freelance roleplay fighting is about. So pretty much, let's go over what we just learned today. With former roleplay sites, making a plot is something that you really need to look forward to. Taking damage to making the fight more realistic and more plausible, and to resist from God mode, and also showing fatigue to make it more realistic. Having a magic system, that's what happened. That's what a lot of people in former roleplay sites abide by, as a certain magic system. And filler, filler is something that is encouraged in a roleplay fight scene in the former roleplay sites. Whereas freelance roleplay site, filler is not really looked up to, but it's actually looked down on. Like Real Illusions was saying not too long ago, that it creates a lot of confusion and people just want to get to the point when you're fighting. But also that detail needs to be focused on, or focused in another area, which is, your measurements, how far you are away from the person, your sword length, how fast you are moving. These things need to be implemented in freelance roleplay fighting to build a more consistent fight scene for the viewers and for the opponent. Freelance roleplay fight also, that you can use rule sets. You can use any rule sets. It can be, certain rule sets can say you can use 2 tons of force. Other rule sets say you can use 10 tons of force. So it all depends on what rule set you're using. And overall, it just allows for more creativity to be involved. Or like Real Illusions was saying earlier, you can have a cybernetic or cyborg person fighting against Godzilla, and you can have these 2 types of characters that's completely contrast and timeline fight each other. This is the creativity that you'll be able to use for freelance roleplay fighting. And that's pretty much it.
In the comments below, you can let us know what roleplay style you prefer. And if you need help being introduced to a different type of role-playing style, you can find our contact info in the description below.
And we will help you out in finding that particular roleplay fighting style, so you can start engaging in the art of roleplay fighting. So before we close off, we're gonna play another song, and this song is by Rob Dogan or Dugan. I think it's Rob Dogan, something like that. But it's called Furious Angel. It's one of the songs from The Matrix. So I hope you enjoy the song, and one of my favorite songs. So stay tuned.
I'm down on the ground. I got seconds to live, and you can't go now. 'Cause love, like an invisible bullet, shut me down, and I'm bleeding. Yeah, I'm bleeding. And if you go, furious angels will bring you back to me. Will bring you back to me. You're a dirty needle, you're in my blood, and there's no curing me. Yeah, and I wanna run like the blood from a wound to a place you can't see me. 'Cause love, like a blow to the head, has left me stunned, and I'm reeling. Yeah, I'm reeling. And if you go, furious angels will bring you back to me. Yeah. To 'cause I can't get up. I'm as cold as a stone. I can feel the light fade from me. Hey, I'm down on the ground. I got seconds to live, and what's there that waits for me? Oh, that waits for me. 'Cause love like a sentence of death's left me stunned. And I'm reeling, yeah, I'm reeling. And if you go, furious angels will bring you back to me. Yeah.
So yeah, again, that was Furious Angels by Rob Dogan. If you like the song, you can check out the video itself. It will be listed in the description below. So that's pretty much the end of the podcast.
If we missed anything about forum roleplay and freelance roleplay, or you have something that you want to mention about it, please leave a comment below.
To be honest, this episode is not the best episode, but it's an episode. So next episode we will have games. We don't have a game this episode as we promised. But we promised next episode to have games. Games to win prizes, games to just the games to win prizes, and stuff like that. But in the meantime, if you guys have any news that y'all want us to look into, just let us know in the comments. Let us know what things y'all be interested in hearing. Are y'all interested in hearing about wars? Are you interested in hearing about roleplay fighting drama? Are you interested in hearing about a new rising fighter? Let us know in the comments of what you like to hear about, and we'll give you updates about it. So until then, I'm Zen,
And I'm Real.
and this has been Virtual Voices. Deuces.